All right, guys, this is MOJUNK. It belongs to a friend of mine, Katie. When I first started working at the hospital where I work, she told me that her dad had a car that looked a lot like my Satellite. And she said it was a Roadrunner, and I instantly became her brother. Her dad was a pretty cool guy. He used to race, and she would talk about him and tell me about him, and I always told her I'd love to go over and meet him and walk around and see some of his toys. He later on got into some really high performance racing with some like tube chassis Chevy type cars, but this was the first car. He bought it new. It's a one owner car, and this is a 440 with a 4-speed, and it has a Dana 60 rear end. So pretty cool. Let's get it cleaned up and then we'll go over the car a little bit better. So it's a 440, and it's got the obligatory torquer intake, the torquer 440. I think all 440s and Roadrunners had to have that. It's got the factory chrome valve covers. You got the like coil. You got the chrome box, and then headers. Kind of a street setup here. I'll show you some time slips of when this car was on the strip, but this car was pretty heavily loaded too. It obviously had power steering, and then this is what I thought was pretty interesting too, is boom, air grabber hood. I always think those are pretty cool on the Roadrunners. That means that these vents up here are actually functional, not like the hood that I'd put on my Satellite. Just beautiful grille, bumper could use a polish. I think if a guy cleaned this up, it's just about to start to have some surface rust, so some steel wool and get that all shined up. But this car was hand lettered. It's got his racing team name on the car, and then the name of this car was MOJUNK. And I heard some of the guys have heard of this car being raced locally. It's kind of got the same kind of pedigree as the Jack Pine Savage. Kind of a known car in Minnesota anyways. It's got some neat stuff here too. Plymouth give you the bird. And I showed you before that this is a Dana 60 car. So it's a 4-speed Dana 60 440. And then this is a really cool touch. You can see the heart with the devil's tail and the tail lights, which is a pretty neat early 70s kind of a deal too. But man, 69 Roadrunner is my favorite car of all time. This is a dream bucket list car for me. Katie's not in the mood to sell it right now, which is fine because I sure as hell can't afford it. And I know that I wouldn't offer anything like $8,000. That was pretty crazy, but just a super cool car. I think she's gonna have Mopar Jeff try to get this thing running for him. We're gonna go through the brakes, the drivetrain. The car was originally parked, I think, because of an electrical fire. It had some trouble with the electrical harness, and there was one in here that looked pretty new. This has got some stuff in here. It comes with all the cat urine smells that you would imagine. But overall, I mean, the interior, the back seat's pretty cool. It's got a really old roll bar in it. I don't know if it's the bolt-in kind. Yeah, I think it's a bolt-in kind because you can get your hand underneath that plate. But that's still pretty cool, you know. old racing thing. Actually has some time slips for the car. Some racing little doodads there. And of course, that's the moneymaker right there, 4-speed. And I think this box here, this cover, oh no, that's some sort of a throttle bottom of a carburetor. And this is the box here. I'm sitting on it. This has got a brand new wiring harness in it. That'll make things easier. And I think in the glove box here, there's all kinds of fun stuff. So here's some time slips. We'll kind of look at those in a minute. We got a traffic violation. Got a pretty cool old Roadrunner air freshener. Some more time slips. And then I believe the title, he's got a bunch of different stuff. Be interesting to go through that. Got your road map. Like I said, the original papers for when he bought the car, and everything's right there. But let's kind of take a look at some of these time slips. That's what interests me the most. Official time. Here's one for 1454, 1401, 1402. I saw some a little bit faster here, so 1472, 1406, there we go, 1389, 1386. We're getting faster, guys. 1669. That must be an older one, huh? And then some more 14s and 15s. So it looks like when you finally got this car all tuned in, it was running the fastest time of 1386 at 99.88 miles per hour. That's not bad. Anyway, I thought you guys get a kick out of this car. Unfortunately for right now, it is going to go back into storage. They're going to start kind of saving some money to put toward this car so that we can get it back on the road at least. And I'm really excited about that. Old cars like this and the Jack Pine Savage don't get to live in garages with epoxy floors. Now this old car needs to go back down the track. So I think one of my stipulations for if I get this car running for Katie, she's got to let me at least take it down the strip at least once, give her a good old rip. Oh yeah, and this car actually has keys. Looks like the original keys to it too. So let's take a look in the trunk. Well, here's something you don't usually see. Trunk pans. Overall, this is a really solid car. I do think that there's maybe some work on the bottom drop-offs of the trunk, the quarter panel, just based on some previous pictures and that. But if you look up here, that all seems to be pretty factory original. You got the pinion snubber there, which you definitely need if you're racing a 4-speed car. And I always thought that was kind of an interesting place to put your fuel pump. But anyway, it's kind of up above the tank, which is kind of interesting. But don't really see a firewall on the back there that you usually have to have. But maybe that's only if the fuel cell's in your trunk. But you would think if your fuel pump's up there, they might like to have a firewall there too. And it has a couple of these different base plates for the air grabber. Let's see, what's this one say? Air grabber hood. Came on my car, it's the original base. Anyway, so I don't know if he was at one point going to sell some parts off of the car, or maybe even thought about selling the car itself. Looks like it's got some marker lights back there, some more hood treatments. Looks like a fuel regulator. And oh, and when we were looking in here earlier, this was in here, and Katie said I could have it. So I'm gonna have this on my Belvedere. Thank you, Katie, I really appreciate that. other miscellaneous parts in here, and some other license plates and stuff. Oh, there you have it, guys. MOJUNK. I don't know why Katie would trust me with a nostalgia super stock vintage race car. If she saw my channel, she'd know that I'm definitely going to take this car down the track someday, especially if I help get it running. Sorry, Katie, but that's just something that we're going to have to do. I also warned her that if we do get it running, she's got to take it to Mopars in the Park, so other people that recognize and remember this car get a chance to be able to see it again. But I hope you like this video, guys. Stay tuned. Hoping to be able to do some more updates on this car for you.